Well, hello and welcome to Life-Changing Finish Lines, our webpage dedicated to improving all things endurance sports, whether it's triathlon, duathlon, or running. I'm your host, Steve Tomboni, CEO, athlete, and race director. And yes, we call this Life-Changing Finish Lines because that's our focus. Changing your life, whether it's the first finish line you get to, your next finish line, or the best one of your entire life. A little bit about my background is I've pretty much done every distance and, have met all of my goals except for one. We'll talk about that at some point. And yes, folks, I've made every mistake there is. I've done about 115 triathlons and duathlons, multi-sport events, about 300 road races of every distance, up to and including marathons, Ironman, and everything in between. Background is in swimming, high school wrestling, high school football. So again, even not only the 30 years before my multi-sport career, but 20 years before that, running and doing all that kind of stuff. So it is with an authentic heart that I come to you and tell you this is an amazing sport and an amazing world. And we want to give you the coaching tools and techniques to make it smart and effective. Everything we're going to do on here is a lot of it in real time. We'll take videos of our coached athletes doing things, racing, competing, finishing, and we'll also have lots of live Zooms you can join into and talk about your issues and concerns. Two things we're going to focus on. Being smart about this. There's a tremendous amount to learn in the sport of triathlon, duathlon, and running, and we are totally safety focused. And again, when I talk about safety, yes, folks, I've ridden a bike for more than 30 years, not including being a kid, and I've wrecked 4 times, and it's a whole lot less fun than it sounds. Who we're going to serve. There'll be 3 different levels here. Basically, it will be total beginners. You can't swim, that's fine. I'm a swim coach and a swimmer. I can teach you to swim. We're going to teach people that want to learn to go a little bit faster. They've got a taste of one of these events and one of these sports, and you want to learn how to go faster. And there's tons of techniques. Again, my first season, I rode a 30-pound bike and made every mistake there was, and we'll talk about that again as well. The first time I did a 70.3, my list of things that I did right only had one thing on it. I finished. The list of things that went wrong were so long, I couldn't believe I actually got it done. And then of course, the third thing we're gonna do is teach you how to go longer, faster, which means you're gonna get up to the 70.3 distance or the 140.6 distance, which is truly a lot harder than it sounds. How we're going to serve everyone. We're going to serve everyone through Zooms, recorded Zooms, a library of all the crazy interviews that I'm going to do with people and athletes, old timers that have been in this sport for a long time, listen to all their crazy mistakes and all their crazy triumphs. And we're also going to do personalized training plans with me and with the rest of our coaches on how to actually get the periodization and the kind of going backwards. I always say start the journey with the end in mind and go backwards, and you've got a pretty good chance of being successful. So that's how we're going to do this. We're also going to have YouTube channels and Facebook posts and messaging and all that crazy stuff. But we're going to try to be really focused on you and what you need to get done. A little bit about the swimming part of this. I've been blessed to coach an awful lot of athletes for an awful lot of years. I was the original founder of the local club in '97, founded the Ball State Triathlon team in '98, and had a lot of amazing finishes and a lot of amazing athletes over all those years. And I've taught Triathlon 101 now for 2024 will be my 24th year of either coaching it or owning the platform to coach Triathlon 101. So met a lot of amazing people, a lot of beginners. Again, that gets into the swim coach part of this. Most everyone that takes Triathlon 101 over the years and I usually limit it to 10 or 15 people because that's a little overwhelming, but none of them can swim. There are very few swimmers that showed up for a triathlon 101 over the years. And I've only actually had 2 people in all those years that didn't finish their first race. And both didn't finish their first event. They finished the class, but they struggled. And both of those folks went on to finish Ironman years later. Super cool, lots of fun. Here's a question I've gotten over the years a lot. Why do I need a coach? Well, first of all, there's a tremendous learning curve in this sport. In my case, my first year, second year, I really didn't have a coach. I just had a bunch of training mates that had done races for years and years and years. And they made some recommendations, let's be honest, but I weren't really coached by them. Did I listen to what they had to say? Oh, about 50% of it. Yes, my first half Ironman, I did not eat on the bike. And therefore, when I got to the aid stations, I was almost blacked out. So for 12 aid stations in a row, I was eating everything in sight, and the lights would come back on. And at the end of the race, I was realizing maybe I should have listened to what Dr. Krause said and aid on the bike. That's kind of why you need a coach. Try to smooth out the rough edges. Don't do anything really silly, and try to have a plan, which again, back in the day, I really didn't have a plan, and nobody really had plans in the mid-90s. We're just out there having fun. So that's kind of an example of why to have a coach. And you'll hear from some of the athletes I've coached recently. We'll do Zooms and podcasts and all that kind of stuff with them, and they'll be like, holy cow, I made every mistake there was. And then I met my coach, and I stopped making mistakes. A little bit of background about my race director world. A lot of you might know me as a race director. And yes, I've produced races for 25 years, every distance, from worlds to nationals to sprints to everything you can think of. Dues, tries, half marathons, 5Ks. And so I can come at it from that perspective as well, which kind of helps my athletes on race day, because when we go to an event together and they say, where is everything? Well, I can usually find that stuff pretty easy for you, no problem. And I can explain to people what's coming at them when it comes to race day. And again, since I've done a bunch of races, makes it a little bit differently. Let's talk about the massive health and fitness and wellness outcomes that come out of this sport. I'm 61 years old when I'm taping this video. No medications. Every time I go to the doc, the nurse says, what do you mean you're on no medication? You're the only 61-year-old that's been in there that has ever been not on any medication and, weigh what you do and are as fit as you are. And I say, no, that's not true. Your doc that works here, who's a triathlete buddy of mine, he's about my age and he's on no medication either. And then the nurse usually goes, wow. And all the insurance products that I've bought over the years, I pay the least premium because I'm, trying to stay fit. That doesn't mean I know how to fly airplanes, right? But at least I can go into great depth about the health and fitness and wellness benefits and spiritual benefits of being really fit and staying active. And we'll have all kinds of podcasts and links and stuff about that cool stuff, because it really is amazing. Another reason why you want to have a coach is the gear. So I've bought every gear. I think I'm on my 7th bike in 30 years. I've bought helmets, shoes, done all kinds of crazy aero bars and water bottles and all that. But the gear can be overwhelming. And one decision about getting the right piece of equipment can save you thousands and thousands of dollars. I can't tell you how many athletes have came to me looking for a coach because they don't know what to do in this $13,000 bike, which they've only ridden like 4 times. 13,000, I'm not kidding. So all the gear is crazy, and without a coach and the connections that I have in all of the endurance world to kind of help you out with that, it gets absolutely ridiculously expensive and overwhelming. In closing, I want to talk about the ripple effect. And the ripple effect is really amazing. And that is, once you become an endurance athlete of any flavor, you start having the ripple effect of all the people around you. And the old joke I say is, when you do your first triathlon and you get body marked, don't wash off your numbers for a day. Walk around with your family and friends, and when they come up to you and say, why does it say 269 on your shoulder? And you tell them, I just did a race yesterday and that was my number. And they're like, what kind of race are you talking about? And you get into what you did, you will see the lights come on and they're like, oh my gosh, that's cool as all get out. And you become an influencer in your workplace, in your church, in your family, in your friends, at the grocery store. I actually had somebody went to a wedding. She was a bridesmaid in a wedding and she left her numbers on. And everybody there was just completely blown away, including the bride and the groom. Super fun, can't make that stuff up. So the ripple effect in your world is big time. If you look down in the links here, you'll see we have an application to apply to be an athlete in our product, links as to how to get to life-changing finish lines and all that. And we welcome you to the show. Congratulations for being here. Thank you.